Welcome to the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. I'm Sean Aylmer. I reckon we're going to hear a lot about deals involving companies specialising in the metaverse, and today's guest is a local example of that. Perth-based digital marketing business B Media is being acquired by Animoca Brands, a $5 billion metaverse unicorn described as the global leader in digital entertainment, blockchain and gamification. Following the acquisition, B Media is going to manage joint ventures with Australian brands wanting to get involved in the metaverse and NFTs. What exactly does that all mean? Well, let's find out. Jordan Fogarty is the founder and CEO of B Media. Jordan, welcome to Fear and Greed.
Thanks for having me.
Now, lots to get my head around here. I want to get definitions also, get your view of metaverse and NFTs, non-fungible tokens. But first of all, what exactly does B Media do? BE Media do?
Yeah, so B Media, we started 8 years ago in the Web 1 space, which was, search and a lot of desktop usage, and then evolved into Web 2, doing a lot of social and mobile advertising and projects. So now's the next step of the journey as we evolve into the Web 3 space of the metaverse and all that fun.
Okay, we'll get there in a moment. Animoca Brands, it's A-N-I-M-O-C-A, Animoca Brands. Tell us about them.
Amazing story. 4 or 5 years ago, it was a small gaming business, and then the founder, Yat, made some incredible, investments in the very early space of this whole NFT metaverse zone, if you like. Some projects, CryptoKitties and some other amazing projects, which are now some of the top, 10 businesses and projects in this whole space. So it's primarily a blockchain gaming business, and works with a lot of, we call it IP. We'd know that as different brands, like done work with Marvel and Formula One and MotoGP, a lot of these different intellectual property to help bring them into the blockchain space.
Okay. So when you're talking about brands getting involved into the metaverse and NFTs, whereabouts is that up to? Well, firstly, let's explain the metaverse. I've tried that many times, particularly quoting Zuckerberg, really. But explain to us what the metaverse is. You're going to be better than me.
So I think a really nice way to explain it is we're so used to being on the internet, so on our mobiles, on desktop. It's really the next evolution of the internet, where it will be a really immersive experience, where we'll actually be in the internet. Is a really nice way, I think, to explain it, and try and start to wrap your head around how it's going to be different in terms of our actual interaction with it.
Yeah, the way I kind of think about it is that I live in my own community, and I'm physically, know the coffee shop owner and know the newsagent and et cetera, et cetera. And the metaverse is actually taking my persona and however I want that to be, and whether you're gaming or anything else, actually being that same person within that metaverse universe sort of thing is how I think about it.
Absolutely. Imagine watching a football game with 3 of your best mates. You're in Sydney, one of them's in Miami, one of them's in London, and you're sitting there together watching the game, experiencing it, chatting, sharing things between each other. That's what this technology can do. Okay.
And then NFTs is the other part of this, non-fungible tokens. So perhaps your explanation first, and then I'll give you mine.
So I think it's good with these things to go to sort of a real world application. So NFTs are a real entry point to the metaverse, and non-fungible token, all it means is think of it like a digital receipt. So finally, this gives you an opportunity through this amazing blockchain technology to actually own your own digital assets online. Now, it's quite a unique point because we're actually not used to the fact that the big tech titans have owned all of our assets. So we haven't been really owning everything. Every Facebook post or posts you've done online have all been owned by the platforms. The data, they own the data. They own that content. So non-fungible tokens are an amazing way where you can actually, through the blockchain, have verified ownership of any items, and that can go from the people NFTing real estate. It's through to sporting merchandise or even moments. It's really artwork. Anything, almost anything can be made into a non-fungible token.
Yeah, okay. And we're actually seeing brands, I think Qantas recently, pushing into that whole space.
Yeah, exciting one this morning. The AFL we've just launched a 5-year partnership with Footy in Australia to bring some of the best moments of the game. So you think of Buddy's 1,000th goal, that incredible experience of everyone running out onto the field. Your people will actually give fans the opportunity to own that piece of property and leverage and have the upside of that value appreciation and really be able to actually be more involved with their ownership of these amazing game that we love in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, the way I think about that is someone owns a great piece of art. The Louvre owns the Mona Lisa. Lots of people can copy it, but there's actually one original only, and that's in the Louvre in Paris. It's kind of the same. If in my metaverse I own an NFT, which is a Buddy memorial kicking the goal or whatever happens to be, I'd prefer the what happened afterwards of the crowd running on, perhaps.
Yeah, totally.
But that's mine. And so, I mean, others obviously kind of know about it and see it in that, but I literally own it. And there's definitely a value in that.
Absolutely. People go, oh, it's just a right click, it's a JPEG. What's the value in that? It's sort of like, well, what about this $50 million bit of art on the wall? Like if there's a fire or anything happens or it gets stolen, like this is a bit of culture, whether it's art or sporting moment or whatever it might be. And you've got verified ownership of that on the blockchain. You can show people it in your wallet. You can be at the pub. You can pull out your wallet and actually show them that NFT, that bit of art, that moment, have all those bragging rights, but also feel that ownership. And it's quite subjective, isn't it? We all have different tastes and different things that we like.
Stay with me, Jordan. We'll be back in a minute. My guest this morning is Jordan Fogarty, founder and CEO of B Media. So what's the appetite from companies wanting to get involved in the metaverse and NFTs? What are they actually wanting to do?
Well, it's a great question. There's two parts to that. The first part, the appetite is incredible, like nothing I've ever seen before. And the interesting another layer to that is they just know they damn well need to be doing something, but they don't necessarily know what. And there's a lot of buzzwords, metaverse is a buzzword and crypto and blockchain, and they're going, I think the real goal of them is going, how do we provide a more immersive brand experience and connection with our customers or users, which this space is literally unparalleled. An example of that, in the fashion space, which is an area we've got a particular focus on, as well as sport, we're looking at doing runway shows where you can have someone walking down the catwalk in Miami, in Sydney, in London, in Prague, if you like, and you're watching this in the metaverse of real models coming down and really, being able to buy it directly off the runway. And it's the creative and artwork you can put around that. We're in the metaverse, right? We're not in a virtual world, so we don't have those normal real world constraints of how creative the creators can be here.
Yeah, and I mean, what you just said then, there's a business strategy behind this. This isn't just getting into it because everyone is into it. There's actually a way of selling clothes in this instance globally, which is touches far more people than they could ever do in the physical world.
And that's what we really recommend. You've hit the nail on the head. It's like anything, having a plan and a strategy and a why you're doing something. You don't want to just go in. We see people doing this. They just go in and host something random in some metaverse space. And, it's got no one there or no one comes or no one shows up. It's like, well, like if you just put a random pop-up out in the desert, would you expect people to rock up there? You've got to have that real planning and strategy and thought behind it to succeed.
At the moment, is it a space where there is still first mover advantage? I can imagine eventually it will be extremely crowded, but outside some aficionados of it, I'd say the majority of people don't know a lot about it. So is there a first mover advantage potentially?
I think there is absolutely a first mover advantage, and I think it's going to come back to brands that have been successful in the past truly are looking to add a really new, unique and valuable experience to their fans or customers that can be meaningful and they can connect a lot more deeper. Social media was a great evolution of how brands could connect with their users and customers and start that dialogue and conversation. A lot of people were terrified when Facebook came out. Oh, we're not setting up a Facebook page. We're not doing that. We're not used to it. This is just that next evolution where brands are going to need to think. And eventually it will become like anything. It will become busy and a lot more noise. So, I definitely think there's a lot of first mover advantage.
And so in terms of B Media, you're kind of there to hold brands' hands as they go into this world.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a strategy team, a product development team, blockchain development, creative, 3D designers, all the elements and project managers, account managers, all the old school business practices apply just as much here. And you know what? If anything, and a conversation with my team in recent weeks and months is we need our core business principles, practices of strategy, planning, approach as more than ever in this environment because our clients and partners are so new for them.
Yeah. Congratulations, first on starting B Media, but also being acquired by Animoca Brands. You have a really interesting story, though. Like you had a sort of a near-death experience, and then you started B Media, and you were very motivated by that experience.
Yeah, it was I was, the short version, 140 kilometers front left passenger side into a tree. Airlifted back in a coma for 6 or 7 days, told by the doctor, you're not going to walk again. You're not going back to uni. Your life's never going to be the same. And luckily I had that sort of, I'll show you energy and, did go back to studying, finish that. And just, I think it really lit a fire that's like, it sounds cliche, but it was like, take action and, seize the days for want of a better word. And, that's when I went out and started B Media at the right age of 23. At that age, I obviously thought I, knew everything like we all do.
Oh, you did. You did. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I did. I knew everything back then. Now, then you realize how little you do know. And that was an amazing experience because it was very painful, but it also, I think it was like I started to feel, hey, if I can get through that, surely how hard could this be or this be? So I probably had a beautiful naivety behind me.
Yeah, but in a sense, getting through that, you were sort of pushing beyond the limit a bit. And in many ways, for many businesses, pushing into the metaverse and getting involved in NFTs is pushing beyond, well, certainly beyond their comfort zones. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's I've found like it's on the other side of generally the hardest things. I think any, business owners listening right now, you have those sleepless nights, you have those times where you just want to give up, you have those times where you think it's all a mess and you've made a terrible decision, and then you persist and you push through, and a month later or 6 months later you sign that epic deal or something happens, and then you're on the roller coaster ride of I'm killing it, I'm on top of the world, and that's the ups and downs of the journey.
Jordan, thank you for talking to Fear and Greed.
Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
That was Jordan Fogarty, founder and CEO of B Media. This is the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. Join us every morning for the full episode of Fear and Greed, Australia's most popular business podcast. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.